What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful fight fans across the world? And seeing this yesterday really made me want to make this video because Jorge Masvidal coming back to the UFC is kind of crazy. How old is bro now? Like 40 years old? A title run is never out of the question, especially for somebody as skilled as me. Oh my god. Oh, whatever. We're not gonna. This is not a video to diss on Jorge Masvidal. We're just gonna talk about how I believe the new era of the UFC is here. I mean, it's not even that I believe. It's just apparent when you look at the rankings and stuff. There's a bunch of new names, bunch of new heads. Let's be real. We all mainly started watching the UFC when Conor McGregor was on his rise. Okay, before that, if you watch before that, you're definitely over the age of 40 or 30 years old at this point. And like, come on, I'm not an old head. We know about the history back then. Like, just because I don't know what happened before the Conor era doesn't make me a casual, okay? Doesn't make me a casual. I was like, how old was I? I was like, bruh, I don't even know. I might have been like 10, 12, 13 years old when Conor was on his rise. But yeah, we all started watching in the Conor era. So let's look at the pound for pound rankings over the years to now. This is in 2016. We got Demetrius Johnson as number 1. Conor McGregor as 2. Daniel Cormier. Jose Aldo just came out of retirement. Stipe Miocic is still here. Crazy. Bro's 40 years old and he's going to fight for a title. But we're not going to diss on John Jones in this video. We'd already do that way too much. T. Wood. Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Michael Bisping. It's crazy how much the pound for pound rankings change in just like 4 to 2 years. Because like I have the pound for pound rankings over here from 2020 now. This is 4 years. Conor McGregor's at 11. Khabib's at number 1. John Jones is there. Israel Adesanya. Stipe's up. Kamaru Usman. Volkanovski's on his rise. Dustin Poirier's there. Justin Gaethje. These guys are on the tail ends of their career now. Tony Ferguson is there, 13. It's crazy. Tony Ferguson hasn't gotten a win in 8 fights, but it's just wild. Francis Ngannou's still there. Robert Whittaker. The Reaper Whittaker is still there. It's crazy, man. The UFC pound for pound rankings 2020. Just look at how different the landscape was just 4 years ago. Just 4 years ago. And also in 2022, we got the pound for pound rankings. We got Volkanovski, Israel Adesanya, Charles Oliveira. Francis Ngannou's still there. Kamaru Usman is still top 5. Aljamain, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. We got so many names. Davison Figueiredo, Yuri Prochazka, Stipe Miocic, Petr Yan, Brandon Moreno. Most of these guys are on the brink of retirement now. All these guys that we love. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira. They probably only have a couple more fights left in them. At most. Israel Adesanya's on his way out. Volkanovski on his way out. Who else on this list? Stipe Miocic is going to fight John Jones and retire for sure. Yuri Prochazka, nah, he still got some time. So many names though. So many names. Francis Ngannou's not even in the UFC anymore. And let's compare it to what we have now. We got the pound for pound rankings here to the left. We got number 1. Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev wasn't even in the pound for pound rankings 2 years ago. Now he's number 1. That's crazy to think about. Alex Pereira, number 2. Him also. Nowhere near the pound for pound rankings 2 years ago. And now he's number 2. Above John Jones. No wonder. Nah. Dana has no right to glaze John Jones that much. John Jones does not deserve that type of glaze. I need somebody to glaze me as much as Dana White glazes John Jones. Then my life would be complete. Then I would actually be happy in life. But that's besides the point. We got Ilia Topuria. Oh my god. Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria didn't even start their UFC careers the last time Stipe Miocic got a win. Isn't that a crazy stat right there? We got Dricus Du Plessis. Who would have thought bro would be top 5 pound for pound in 2024? Who would have guessed that? Whoever would have guessed that, give bro $1 million. Give bro a lottery ticket right now. Because nobody else is taking that risk on Dricus Du Plessis. We got Bilal Muhammad at 6. We got Bilal Muhammad at 6. Is the UFC in decline? Is the UFC cooked? I think we might be cooked. Why is Bilal Muhammad in the 6th spot? Shavkat Rakhmonov, please. I'm the number 1 Shavkat glazer on YouTube. Please save us, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Please, man. Save us from Bilal Muhammad title reign. You're our only hope. Kamaru Usman's too old. He's not going to do it, man. Shavkat Rakhmonov is our only hope. Please, man. But that's besides the point as well. We got Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's champ now. Crazy. If you called that Sugar Sean O'Malley would be champ too, people would call you crazy, because that's when Piotr Jan was on top. That's when Aljamain was in his top tier form, and he knocked out Aljamain Sterling. You gotta give Sean O'Malley his respect. I do not care. Tom Aspinall. Who was Tom Aspinall 2 to 3 years ago? Nobody barely knew his name. And now everybody's saying he's the guy to defeat John Jones? The UFC. This is why MMA and the UFC is the best sport. Because every year, not even 2 years, every year, the landscape of the whole game changes. One fight can change the entire makeup of how the rest of the year is going to go. Who's going to get fights, who's not. It's crazy. This is why this is the best sport on the world. This is why I make videos about this sport. Because it's just so interesting. We got Volkanovski at 10. Volkanovski. Every time I see bro's name, I get depressed. But we're not gonna get into that now. I know I said that too much in this video, but come on. There's so many stuff. There's so many depressing fighters on these pound for pound rankings. Tony Ferguson, Volkanovski, Pantoja, Sean Strickland. Who would have thought Sean Strickland would be UFC champion 2 years ago? Nobody. Charles Oliveira still there. Israel Adesanya 15. But I just wanted to make this video to talk about how I think we're in the new era. Most of these fighters that we love from back in the Conor era to now, John Jones, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, there's so many others. I'm not even remembering. Edson Barboza was a big one. Stipe, so many fighters. I just can't remember them. But most of these guys are above the age of 35 now. They're on their way out of the sport, which is crazy. We're in the new era of the UFC now. All fighters that we grew up with in our era, like Ilia Topuria's, like the Sean O'Malley's, like the Dricus Du Plessis, we saw their careers actually go. So like it's kind of crazy now to see the state of the UFC. Do you think the UFC will be the same without these fighters? Without Dustin Poirier? Without Justin Gaethje? Without all these fighters that we know, that we grew up with and love? Conor McGregor? He's probably has 1-2 more fights in him. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it is, because MMA, come on. If you're watching this video, you love MMA as a sport. I love MMA as a sport. So we all want the sport to grow. No, but let me say this. The skill difference from then to now has definitely grown. The UFC fighters of today will always be better than the UFC fighters of today will always be worse than the UFC fighters of tomorrow. They're always going to get better. That's just how it is in every sport. They always get better. Every generation always improves upon itself. But that's a good thing, because we want to see the most skilled fighters go at it. We don't want some... we don't want Mike... No. Let me not violate no champions, because they're UFC champions, alright? They got to that position. They worked hard. They worked their way up the rankings, so they deserve all the praise. But that's it for this video about how the new era of the UFC is here. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think the UFC will be the same without these fighters that we know and love? I don't know, but it's hard to say, but leave a like, subscribe if you like content like this. I'm dropping videos like this almost every day, so turn them notifications on. Yeah, but that's it for this video, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one.